To discuss the game about badminton. Next slide, please. So let's have fun today. Are you ready? Ready na ba mo? Ready na?
Yes.
Next slide, please. So first, what is badminton? So badminton is a sports racket that is played with a shuttlecock or birdie as a projectile, and where the players are separated by a net that divides that court into two equal parts. The points are scored by landing the shuttle on your opponent's side of the court. Badminton is played as an outdoor sport in several parts of the world. However, to fully enjoy its potential, badminton should be played indoors where the wind cannot compromise the flight of the shuttle. Next slide, please. So badminton, let me share to you a brief summary about badminton. So a badminton appears to be an evolution of a game called battle tour and shuttlecock, which origins go way back in time. So badminton, as we know it today, was, according to most sources, invented and developed by the British in the middle of the 19th century. The most widespread theory is that it was invented in British India and then went back to England, where it became popular very fast. So, the name as the precise origin is not clear either. However, the most plausible theory says that the game came from Badminton House in Gloucestershire, England, house owned by the Dukes of Beaufort in the 17th century. So according to the theory, badminton became very popular in that location during its inception, with badminton matches being organized there. The Badminton Association of England, founded on September 13, 1893, was the first national badminton association created, and it organized the first badminton competition in 1899. So the competition, called All England Open Badminton Championships, included gentlemen's doubles, ladies doubles, and mixed doubles. So next slide, please. So next to discuss is the basic equipment. Next slide. First, equipment that we need is the racket. So a racket is one of the few mandatory items in order to play badminton. As we describe in detail in our badminton measurement post, a racket must follow very strict guidelines to be considered a badminton racket in a professional setting. Second is, next slide please. Second is the shuttle or birdie, or sa ato karon is shuttlecock. So the shuttlecock is made up of half-round ball at the bottom and a feather-like material surrounding the top. So as you can see kanang sa mga picture dira, mao na siya ang shuttlecock. Next slide please. Next is the net and poles. So a net with the poles is, in our opinion, also a mandatory item. Even though you can still hit the shuttle around without the net, this equipment provides certain limitations to the shot that make the game more realistic and fun. So ang net and poles, ginagamit niyo siya nga kanang murag babag siya sa tunga na kanang dapat ang shuttlecock kay mulang pa siya ato nga net. Mao na ang gamit sa net and poles. Next slide please.
Aliyang siya ba ito?
Shoes. Shoes are, in our opinion, the third most important equipment to buy after rackets and shuttles. So this is because badminton can be a very demanding sport for So there are two forms of badminton. We have singles and the doubles. So it's also possible to play mixed doubles. So each player is allowed to use a string racket similar to a tennis racket but with the head being smaller. And you can only really hit the bottom of the shuttlecock, and as a gravity comes into play will always revert the ball side facing down. So you may only hit the shuttlecock once before it either hits the ground or goes over the net. So kana mag-double, dili na siya pwede. Kailangan isa lang jud ka hit sa shuttlecock. Next slide, please. So the court measures is 6.1 meter wide and 13.4 meter long. Across the middle of the rectangular court is a net which runs at 100.55 meters. So running along each side of the court are two drum lines. The inside lines are used as the parameters for single match, while the outside line is used for a double match. So kani dili natin siya magamit pag madula na ta kay naraman na sa gawas, no? So kani siya mao ni ang proper nga kanang kadak-a sa court kung pagdula jud ta og kanang sa badminton jud nga place. Next slide, please. Winning the game. To win a game, you must reach 21 points before your opponent. If you do so, then you will have won that set. If the scores are tied at 20-20, then it comes down to whichever player managed to get 2 clear points ahead. If the points are still tied at 29, then the next point will decide the winner of the set. So winning the overall game will require you to win 2 out of the 3 sets played. Next slide, please. So this is the rules of badminton. First, a game can take place with either 2 singles or 4 double players. So kita kay single man ta, isa-isa lang ta upuan hindi man ta magkita ninyo tanan. So atong gamiton is single. Second, an official match has to be played indoors on the proper court dimensions. The dimensions are 6.1 meter by 13.4 meter. The net is situated through the middle of the court and is set at 1.55 meter. Third, to score a point, the shuttlecock must hit within the parameters of the opponent's court. Fourth, if the shuttlecock hits the net or lands out, then a point is awarded to your opponent. Fifth, player must serve diagonally across the net to their opponent. As points are won, then serving stations move from one side to the other. There are no second serve, so if you first serve goes out, then your opponent wins the points. Next slide, please. So a serve must be hit underarm and below the serve waist. No overarm serve allowed. Next is each game will start with a toss to determine which player will serve first and which side of the court the opponent would like to start from. Next, we have once the shuttlecock is live, then a player may move around the court as they wish. They are permitted to hit the shuttlecock from out of the playing area. Next is if a player touches the net with any part of their body or racket, then it is deemed a fault and their opponent receives the point. Next is a fault. A fault is also called if a player deliberately distracts their opponent. The shuttlecock is caught in the racket, then flung, the shuttlecock is hit twice, or if the player continues to infract with the laws of badminton. Next slide. So each game is umpired by a referee on a high chair who overlooks the game. There are also line judges who monitor if the shuttlecock lands in or not. The referee has overriding calls on infringements and faults. Let may be called the referee if an unforeseen or accidental circumstances occurs. This may include the shuttlecock getting stuck in the pit, servers serving out of turn, one player was not ready, or a decision which is too close to call. So the game has only 2 rest periods, coming the form of a 90-second rest after the first game and a 5-minute rest period after the second game. So if the law are continuously broken by a player, then the referee holds the power to deduct the player of points, with persisting fouls receiving a forfeit of the set or even the match. So now we have the scoring. So our scoring, a point is scored when you successfully hit the shuttlecock over the net and land it in your opponent's court before they hit it. A point can also be gained when your opponent hits the shuttlecock into either the net or the outside the perimeter. So I think that's all. Thank you for listening. Hope you have fun.